everybody, Jamie here from Start Riot, and welcome back to Thank Pop, It's Friday! I have some sad news to break to you all this week. Unfortunately, Fall Out Boy are back, and they have a new song. It's called Young and Menace. It'll be on the album Mania, which will be out on September the 15th. In kind of the same vein as Paramore last week, this song sees Fall Out Boy very wildly depart from their classic sound. It's less for fans of Taking Back Sunday and Blink-182, more for fans of Skrillex and Imagine Dragons. It's kind of dubstep, electro, R&B, and pop. Not punk. Let me just stress that. Not punk. Now, you may say to me, Jamie, how can you defend Paramore so much last week and justify hating this song? That's because not all bands are equal, and this song is shit. One band can go pop and do it right, and another can do it and go spectacularly wrong. It really feels like Fall Out Boy had a lot going for them, and they don't use any of it anymore. Even Patrick Stump's voice, which you can always count on, incredible voice. You barely hear it in this song. It's mixed up with sub-drops and edits that just cut up the vocal track and just weird auto-tune pitch shifty madness. Just, maybe I'm old, but I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I hate this song so much, it makes me never want to listen to From Under the Cork Tree again, and that album is just a stone cold classic. Look, if you like this song, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. That's what's great about music. It's all just opinions. There's no objective element to it. But I just happen to think this song is absolute trash. Blink-182 have a new song called 6-8. It's another one off the upcoming deluxe edition of California, released on May the 19th. Much like the first track they released from it, Parking Lot, this is a darker, heavier one from Blink. It's kind of hard to compare it to their back catalogue. Doesn't sound like too much, but I'd maybe put it up against Go from the self-titled or Dogs Eating Dogs from that EP. It's a really cool song anyway. I really like this one. I love it when Blink go a bit darker. My favourite album's the self-titled one. I know everyone's just going to say Enter of the State, but I just prefer it. I really feel like this is maybe the album that Blink wanted to make when they made California. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure on them with the lineup change, with Tom DeLonge leaving, Matt Skiba coming in. People didn't know what to expect. I do feel like they played it a little bit safe with California. Not necessarily a bad album, but definitely not their best. Definitely not their worst either. I feel like these songs were maybe just them experimenting. Maybe they didn't feel confident enough to put them on the main album. But I think it's a really good sign of what might come from Blink and what they could do in the future. They really could break out of the pop-punk mold that they've put themselves kind of back into after they broke out of it a little bit with the self-titled album. I think it bodes well for Matt Skiba's future in Blink-182 as well. He obviously specialises in these kind of songs with Alkaline Trio. Maybe the next album will make people forget that Tom DeLonge was ever in the band. That's not gonna happen. Haim have a new song called Right Now. It's off their upcoming second album, Something to Tell You, which will be out July the 7th. This song actually really sounds like it could be a Bon Iver song, which is no bad thing. It especially could be on that last Bon Iver album, but for me, it sounds like Perth off the self-titled album, the first track. Just the way it builds and the little loops. Really cool video for this by Paul Thomas Anderson as well. If you're not film buff, he's directed some really cool films like Boogie Nights, The Master, There Will Be Blood. He also directed a video for Radiohead off the last album. Haim's first album, Days Agone, was a really great slice of indie pop, and hopefully this one will follow suit. I know this is a bit lighter than the stuff we usually feature on here, but I just really like Haim. Single Mothers have a new song called Undercover. Now this one will actually be on their second album, unlike the two EPs they've released since the first. That album will be called Our Pleasure, and it's out on June the 16th. If you are expecting a return to the sound of the self-titled EP, then you will be disappointed with this track. But Single Mothers are very aware of that, and even reference it in the lyrics to this song. They say, whatever happened to Single Mothers? Well, they now sound like this. Less hardcore, more melody, but there's still the same visceral, acerbic, sarcastic lyrics. It really is what makes Single Mothers great. I know a lot of people didn't like Negative Qualities compared to the EP, and I can understand where they're coming from. I think my favourite tracks on Negative Qualities are the heavier ones. We'll have to wait and see with this album whether they've maybe lost some of their edge or whether it's just a more melodic sound. They say they've moved on and they're not looking to please everyone, and I can respect that, to be honest. Although the cynical part of me says that when a band says that, it means they're not looking to please their old fans, they're looking to get lots more new fans. Another band that have softened their hardcore edges, Hundredth, have released a new song called Neurotic. Their fourth album, Rare, will be out on Hopeless Records, also on June the 16th. Now this really is a departure from their sound. I was genuinely surprised when I heard this song. I thought it may have been a different band for a second. Then I remembered that no, this is the band that I saw supporting While She Sleeps, and they sounded a lot like While She Sleeps. Very metalcore, very heavy. And now they sound like Balance of Composure or Title Fight or even Turnover to a certain extent. They've very much moved moved on, possibly you could say abandoned their old sound. And they've said it's not just for this song, their whole album will be a complete departure from their old material. In my opinion, when a band switches sounds up so much like this, they either do it so differently to the rest of the bands that it kind of brings a different perspective on it. You could say that with Code Orange when they did Adventures, they really brought a lot of very hardcore influences to it, especially in the drums on the album Supersonic Home. Or they could just do a really watered down version of it because they don't have the same influences, they're not coming from the same place. And with this song at the minute, it's striking me as more of the latter. It doesn't really do anything new or interesting for me compared to stuff like Balance and Composure, whose album Like We Made I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I appreciate that they were doing something different. This 100th song kind of does just sound a bit like a watered down version of that, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I do enjoy the song, I don't think it's a bad song. Long-time fans of 100th may say something different, but I am interested in hearing what they'll do with the album. I'll give it a listen when it comes out. Rozwell Kid have a new song, UHF, on DVD. That's off their eagerly awaited second album, Precious Art, which will be out on June the 23rd on Side 1 Dummy. If you ever thought there was a distinct lack of bands writing catchy, poppy, riffy songs about having a panic attack in Australia, then fear no more. Rozwell Kid are here for you. They supported Into It, Over It and Hotelier on their co-headline tour in the UK last year. They don't really sound like either of those bands though. One that I would compare them to is maybe Jeff Rosenstock. They get a lot of comparisons to early Weezer as well, which I'm sure people will be interested in. I do really like this song. I think I may need more time with it. I don't find it as catchy as maybe some other people do, but I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're into stuff like that. Congratulations to the UK band Muskets, who signed to No Sleep Records. They'll be releasing their debut album this year, hopefully with them. They've reminded everyone that they released a video for 17 years earlier this year. Really cool song. That will be on their upcoming album, hopefully. They've played it live quite a few times recently. Great UK band. Great to see them signed to a good label like No Sleep as well. Orchards have a new song called Darling. This is for fans of bands like Everything, Friendly Fires, Early Falls. If you like that Vukovi album which came out earlier this year, then this is like a poppier version of that as well. You may have seen Orchards opening up for Power Bottom on their recent UK tour. Really great show, really fun live. They have kind of got that indie dance vibes from the early 2000s with a really catchy poppy sound as well. They really are a lot of fun. If you're going to check out one song this week that maybe you wouldn't otherwise, then this is definitely the one to have a look at. Cayetana have a new song, Bus Ticket. Their second album, New Kind of Normal, is out next week on May the 5th. That's on Plum Records. I'm really looking forward to hearing this album. They're in the same kind of scene as Diet Sega and Slingshot Dakota. Bit more of a punky sound to Cayetana though compared to those bands. This song's a bit more of a brooding anthem than the other songs they've released from this album so far. It really reminds me of an Alanis Morissette song, and there's not much higher praise than I can give to an angsty song. There's a new festival been announced in Southampton called So Not Pink Fest. It's celebrating women in the DIY scene. From the people behind So Punk Fest, which I went to earlier this year, which is fantastic. Headlined by the wonderful Slow Coaches. Some great artists playing this as well, like Fresh and El Morgan from Personal Best. And my band Smother will be playing as well, so I'll definitely be there. And our mates in Already Heard have released a new compilation, the Already Heard Recommends compilation. This is to celebrate their 5th birthday. Congratulations, guys. Not only that, but all proceeds from this compilation will be going to the mental health charity Mind. Some fantastic bands on here as well, like Tiger Cub, Casey, Kamikaze Girls, Cassell's, Energy, Ghouls, and loads more. Definitely go check it out. Some great bands on there, and all proceeds go to a great cause. And that's all for this weekend. I'll be working at Grows Rock Festival this weekend. Can't wait. If you see me, come say hello. We'll have a chat about some sick music. Have a great time at Grows Rock if you're going. I'll see you there. But for now, thank Punk, it's Friday!